I was afraid. I thought, if I don't feel like I belong to these churches, how am I going to feel like I'm going to belong to a church that, in my mind, had more rules? That's how I saw it. I just thought, there's so many rules. I'm never going to belong.
Welcome back to the Outdoor Catholic. I'm here with my good friend Jenny, who recently joined the Catholic Church. And today she's going to share with us her fears about joining the church, as well as her OCIA and Easter Vigil experiences. Welcome. Did you grow up with any kind of faith life?
So I believed in God, but I had no faith life per se. Didn't go to church. I definitely didn't think about the relationship with Jesus or his sacrifice. None of that. I just was kind of on the if you're a good person, that's all you need kind of belief.
I know a lot of people have felt the same way. So when did you begin to have a faith life and a relationship with Jesus?
It mainly started, so Hazel was a couple months old, and she's my younger daughter, and we were having difficulty. She was having medical issues that we didn't know about at the time, but she was not sleeping at all. And I remember joining a mom's group. It's called Mothers of Preschoolers. And I showed up, and it was at a church. So I was a little intimidated, but I was so sleep deprived and just I just need another mom. I just need some support. And I was in line for breakfast, and some mom was like, "Oh, so-and-so finally slept through the night." And I bawled my eyes out because I was like, I'm never gonna sleep again. And these women that I didn't even know, were hugging me and welcoming me. And it was from that point on that I realized I continue to go to these groups, and I see that they're living a life that is different than anything I'd ever seen. They weren't preaching to me. They weren't, necessarily, but they were living a life that was so totally different than anything I'd ever witnessed. And they were so full of this love that I'm like, you're hugging a complete stranger and telling her it's gonna be okay, and kind of unleashing their faith on me without. I'd always been preached to, and I think that I have this personality where I kind of buffer against it, and I don't know, it was just them living the life through Christ, and then it just I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like sunshine. It just radiates out of them, and I started noticing that with them, and then again, that was another one of those moments where it just kind of slowly sunk in, or came through to me, and something I'm like, I want what they have, not in a jealous way, but just something to try to obtain or achieve, or how do you get that? They weren't living a life that was easy. I noticed they often, their testimonies during these meetings, they went through some very hard things, much harder than I'd ever been through, and yet they were happier and more joyful and full and peaceful, all these things that I never experienced before.
So what were your thoughts on joining the Catholic Church? And who, if anyone, had an influence on you to join the church?
So my husband Derek was the one who signed us up, and for years we'd been going to different kinds of churches, Baptist, evangelical, just different Christian denominations. And we'd always kind of gone around the Catholic Church. I just thought, there's so many rules. I'm never gonna belong. And Derek had worked with some guys who were Catholic, who over the years, again, same thing, slowly planted the seed in him. And he comes home one day from work, and he's like, I signed us up for OCIA. I was like, whoa, wait, what's OCIA, first of all? What have you signed me up for? Because this is the first time that he's done this. All for the good, mind you, but he explained what it was, and we had all these forms to fill out beforehand, basically to just give the coordinator some background information. And I'm just getting sweaty, just filling it out. I'm like, oh, this is not gonna be good. This is not gonna go well. But we go to the first class, and we meet Elizabeth, the coordinator, and it's the same thing. Immediately, big hug. It's just so, I was taken right back to that time when I first went to my mom's group. And we just never looked back. She was so welcoming. The whole group was welcoming. I mean, we never felt like that at any church. Even when we've been to some for a couple Years, and we never felt that. And we felt that in one class. And I soon realized, like, Catholicism, it's not just rules. It's so different than anything I ever imagined.
What was OCIA like, and how did that make you feel?
So I do remember leaving the first class and being in awe, not just of the feeling welcome, but I remember that was the one that was like, is there a God? Like, it was very broad topic, but a good starting point. And we had watched a video, and I just remember leaving the class and thinking, if there ever had been a doubt in my mind, there could not be one. After just one class, mind you. And then we continued to do the classes, and we were paired up with discipleship partners. Wonderful. They're now my godparents, Joe and Sue, and we clicked right away, and we basically reached out to them. We're like, okay, we gotta start going to Mass. Like, this is the next step. And we were afraid to go by ourselves the first time, so we reached out to them. What time do you go? Which church in the parish do you go to? So we met with them, and then that was a beautiful experience. A little overwhelming. I didn't know what to say to everything, but it also didn't feel uncomfortable, which there had been many church experiences where we left feeling uncomfortable. So that, I thought, well, not being uncomfortable is a huge first step. Huge first step. And then the more we went, it just became this like peace. You kind of feel peaceful because you know what you're, I don't know, there's some rhythm to it. The rest of the world is falling apart. Your life, you have a crazy week, but you come to Mass and you're together and you're surrounded by people that are all there for the same reason, and you just have this calm and peace of the rhythm of Mass. Not to mention what it brings to you. At the time we couldn't take Eucharist, but we got the blessing every week. So that was an amazing experience, because I mean, every other church we've been to, we're just in a sea of people and you just feel disconnected.
So now you're finished with the OCIA classes, and now comes the big day, the Easter Vigil. Tell us about the Easter Vigil experience.
My favorite part about the vigil was the very beginning, where you start out outside, and it was horrible. The weather was terrible. It was raining. It was sideways raining, because Father Dell had his book out and he's trying to say his words that he was trying to say, and pages are flapping back and forth, and the fire's fighting for its life, you know, and we're all crowded under a tent, but everyone is still outside as if it doesn't matter. There's people without umbrellas that are standing outside and they light the candle, and we go into the church, and it is pitch black, and I did not know that was going to happen, which I'm kind of glad I wasn't even told, because it was more beautiful. And then the singing came out, and you're just in the dark, and they're singing, and then they light the first candle, and it was so beautiful. I have my hair standing up, like I have goosebumps now, and that was the same reaction. It was just like, it was such a powerful thing, and I think that's part of Catholicism, that where I thought there were rules, it was more these beautiful things that connect with your visceral, like I'm such a visual person. Visceral, like the smells, the sights, the sounds. So the singing, the darkness and the light, it was just brought out something that was so powerful. And obviously the baptism was powerful, but something about that moment, because I could relate, like I've been walking in darkness this whole time leading up to this day, basically. And then you get your candle lit and you're like, here we go.
The Easter Vigil is such a beautiful and powerful event. Did you ever feel the presence of the Holy Spirit?
But I remember suddenly understanding, not just being a good person. It wasn't being a good person. It was loving people the way God does. And I have loved people, but to see them as God's children, I can't explain it. it was just this feeling of pureness that I can't explain.
What would you want to say or share with anyone who's considering joining the Catholic Church?
I think aside from community, for us, Catholicism was like, this is where everything comes down from. This is where it started. Okay, so the Mass is the same. The word, the liturgy that's spoken is the same every Mass around the world. So between the community aspect was probably one of the biggest ones for us. The fact that Mass is the thought of my mom going to Mass in a different state and being able to literally call or text her later and find, our homilies are slightly different, but just the readings are the same. And to I kind of get goosebumps thinking like loved ones of mine that are in the Catholic Church are experiencing the same thing elsewhere.
My gosh.
Good.
I feel like giving you a hug too.
Oh, yeah, I gotta give everybody hugs. Thank you so
And
much.
congratulations.
Yeah.
If you like that video, make sure to check out the Scott Campbell Outdoor Catholic YouTube channel, where we have more videos just like this. And if you want to see our newest videos, make sure to click subscribe so you'll get notifications.